Scott Overpeck, thanks for joining me today.
Well, thanks for having me, Laura. I'm glad to be here.
So we all know spring in New Mexico is windy, but April and now into May, are these winds as unusual as they seem to me right now?
Well, one thing is for sure is that the winds have been noticeably higher. It's not unusual for April and May because those are our windiest times of the year, but we've issued several more high wind warnings and wind advisories, notifying people that yes, we're going to have some high winds on those days. We've issued a lot more of those within April and May than we have for quite some time, probably going back to 2011. So it's certainly been a windy year so far.
So we'll get to kind of this past weekend's conditions, but I wanted to look back to April a little bit. April 22nd, April 29th, those felt like really notable days. Do those show up in the data too, or is it just me remembering what those days were like?
No, those showed up in the data as well. There were several areas that had wind gusts up to 60, 70 miles per hour, and that certainly was what was a big driver for a lot of the wildfires that we have and causing a lot of spread. So certainly not your imagination. Certainly those were some of our windier days in April, and we tried to get the warnings out for people and let them know that be prepared for the wind on those days, because those were certainly big days for those times.
Taking us back to last week, kind of the week before Mother's Day, the National Weather Service was all over these warnings. The governor was talking about them. Firefighters were certainly watching them. Can you describe what you knew was coming, what happened, and why?
Certainly, I think the biggest thing is that we knew that we could see that there was a big storm system, a trough that was developing up in the Big Basin, or Great Basin, and then down towards the Four Corners. We knew that this would put the jet stream pretty well over our neck of the woods, over New Mexico. And so that was one of those features that we could really kind of pinpoint several days in advance. And not only that, like I mentioned before, it was going to be kind of slow moving. And so we're still kind of under that jet stream even now. And that's why we decided to really kind of push the envelope and say, this is not your ordinary system. It's going to be a little bit slower moving. That means we're going to have several days where we could have strong and high winds. And that's kind of what bared out over the weekend, even yesterday. So that's kind of the reasoning why we could see this in the data, we could forecast, we could get the word out. And it was a really big help to have everybody working together, not just the National Weather Service, but like you said, the governor and other agencies just having that same message and letting people know that this is something that we need to really be prepared for, and especially in those wildfire areas.
So every day I kind of check the weather like everybody else and see it's going to be another windy day, and I keep thinking, well, maybe this will be the last one. Like, are we just looking at continued on and off windy conditions through the spring this year?
Well, I think it's going to be depending on how these storm systems move across the southern Rockies. So we're kind of in that period now. It does, in the forecast, it does look like winds will drop off some toward the weekend, but then even if we look way out, beyond 7, 8, 10 days out, it's about as far as our forecast models will go. It does look like next week we might see the winds come back a little bit stronger. So we're just going to have to take it as it comes, unfortunately.
So, we talk on our show a lot about climate change, and there are certainly certain things like rising temperatures and changes in snowpack that we can point toward climate change and warming. Are these wind patterns, does this have anything to do with warming and climate change, or is this something separate?
I think where climate change, like you mentioned, really has its impact is, we're looking at the drought conditions, we're looking at these drier, below normal precipitation conditions, and there's some tie with that to even the El Nino, La Nina pattern that we're in. We're currently in La Nina. And so how does climate change really affect those patterns? And then that's going to impact what our weather pattern looks like for each spring. So it's kind of trickles all the way down, but there is going to be some influence on where and how these storm systems develop based on that. getting down to the nitty-gritty details, can we really nail that down? Not exactly, but you definitely know that there's those connections, and there are going to be some impacts in influencing what we get on a day-to-day weather based off that. It's just hard to really pinpoint exactly which days, okay, was this really within the realms of what we typically see? Is this out of the ordinary? This recent pattern certainly could be more tied to La Nina, but then how is climate change affecting La Nina? And those are questions that we have to ask and get some answers for.
So I already know this isn't a fair question to ask because we're talking about 5 and 10 day forecasts, but is this pattern that we're seeing this year, are we going to look back on this year and be like, whew, that was an outlier, that was a really rotten year? Or will we look back on this year and be like, that was the start of a change that we're going to start seeing on a regular basis in the spring?
I think we're kind of looking at this as, averaging out the extremes. This could potentially be one of those years that's going to stick out from more of the others. How frequently are they going to be? That's an unknown. We really just don't know. Is this going to be a start of a new trend? The atmosphere likes to balance things out. Climate likes to balance things out. And so certainly we're looking at a really dry year, and certainly see that bear out in the climate data. So we'll just have to see a little bit more, get a little bit more information on how this really falls out, and can we see if this is a new trend and moving forward.
Yeah. So lastly, I just want to, when people get those alerts, people see, what are some of the things that you all would like us to do when we see these alerts and warnings?
So I think the main thing is when you see a warning for like red flag conditions, that's basically saying, no, don't do anything with a flame. Don't do anything that causes a spark. I know that people want to get work done on their property, want to, take care of any shrubs around and those kinds of things. Any kind of outdoor welding, anything like that's just not really a good idea. If you're out camping, really use extra special care to make sure your campfires are contained and put out, and follow the regulations from the state parks and national parks, and follow what they suggest you do. Even trucks stopping on the side of the road, you wouldn't think of hot brakes being something that could do it, but I mean, it's that kind of thing that could really even simply just set off a brush fire. So it just doesn't take much in these conditions to get something going. And then lastly, if you're in one of these areas dealing with the wildfires in close proximity, really follow the evacuation orders, have a go kit, have something ready to go so that you can evacuate at that moment's notice.
Yeah, one of the things that I feel like I never fully understood until this fire season was that evacuation order has so much to do with your exit route. I think sometimes I in the past had thought it had to do with, the fire's coming this way, and I see it's over there, I don't need to think about it yet, but really those evacuation routes are just critically important.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of something that people really don't quite get, is that the fire may not be affecting their property right away, but their escape route could be very well cut off, and that's what's really important, is that you've got to have a way to get out.
Yeah, scary stuff this year. Thank you so much for coming on the show and for helping us understand what the heck's going on.
Well, I appreciate being on. Thank you.
Thanks.